Au pays pas fini.
My name is Natasha Kalicharan, and I am Mrs. West Indies International 2014. And I am here in Little Haiti, and we are celebrating Haiti's 5th year of remembering the victims of the earthquake in January 2010.
We reflect. It is a solemn day that we have to think to ourselves how far it is that we have come. Not since 2010, but how far our families have come, how far our friends have come, and how far Haiti as a homeland has come. And it is true that there is much work that needs to be done in Haiti. My most recent visit there was this past year. And while I was there, the first thing that people tend to notice is some of the destruction that is still there. And it's destruction that is among the people. It's destruction that is in the housing, in the commercial boulevards. But the biggest thing that stood out to me were the people that lived among it. The people that live among the destruction show the true spirit of the Haitian community. The people that live amongst the construction and the destruction set up their own businesses. They operate day to day as if there was no care or concern in the world, because they realize that for them to move forward, they have to face their new reality with courage. And that is what excites me about the Haitian community. The Haitian community is a community that is one that perseveres through all obstacles. The Haitian community is a community that fights. It is a community that expresses itself. It is a community that will fill the streets when people say that there's a wrongdoing of the Haitian man or woman. They let you know when they do not agree with you. They let you know when they are with you. And no matter how the media portrays our community, you always know that the Haitian people do what is right for themselves. And here in Miami, we hope to continue to do what is right for Haitian people, not only here, but in the homeland. You should know that Haiti is being rebuilt. You should know that the monies that have been donated are going for useful causes. You should know that tourism is moreover every day developing. You should know that that relationship between those that are in Haiti and that are in Miami are strong as they were when the earthquake occurred. But you should also know that Haiti continues to need all of our support. We cannot allow places in other countries, cities that may be going through their own devastation to take precedent over Haiti. Your community comes first, because your community deserves the hard work and dedication of all of its community leaders, of all of the civic leaders, and of all of the elected officials. We thank you so very much for being here. We thank you so very much for taking the time to think through the past and what has happened to all of us. And we know that when one tragedy happens to one person that is of African descent, it happens to us all. Thank you so very much.
My name is Azu, and I'm going to do a poem entitled My IT. And yeah. My IT is a beautiful woman of many dimensions and different complexions. She is a negress at heart. Her curvaceous figure spares no one. Men of all class and background have always wanted a piece of her. She ignites the curiosity of wealthy merchants and beggars alike. Eventually, they all fall for her. But to hide their envy, to deceive themselves of their own desires, they call her all these derogatory titles like Haiti is the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere, yet they can't seem to keep their hands off of her. My Haiti has a very long history. She housed men of all calibers, deceitful gentlemen of all backgrounds have left their marks by her shores. They came for short journeys, but ended up spending a lifetime. And when they passed, they left their offspring to suck her dry. But none of them ever truly loved her. None of them understood that a woman like Haiti was not meant to live under anyone's occupation or regulation. So when she sparked the rebellion against France and defeated Napoleon shamelessly, Thomas Jefferson there to call her the pest of rebellion. France and her slave-holding allies all came together and tried to demonize everything that has to do with the voodoo religion, which I must tell you is more than just a religion. It is her way of life, engraved in her traditions. My Haiti has never been a selfish woman. She not only liberated herself, but her neighbors, not once, but twice. She freed the enslaved in the Dominican Republic and made them realize that freedom was everyone's right. My Haiti has always been humble. She's all over. That is why she helped fight the American Revolutionary War of 1779, yet she is barely credited for her good deeds. Even England walks around with a title that isn't her own. It was Haiti who was the first to liberate the enslaved and annihilate slavery from her territories, but we are not here to fight for titles. Like every other woman, she yearns for love and understanding, and she is tired of lies being spread about her. She is not cursed, and when you climb her mountainous back, please comprehend that you are many steps closer to the heavens, for she is the mother of freedom. She inspired rebellions and revolution all over Latin America. She inspired men like Simon Bolivar. She founded Chicago through her native son, Jean-Baptiste Puig-du-Sable. My Haiti has always been a woman of glory. She inspired the enslaved all over the world and made them realize that they were not to be treated as cattle or as 1/5 of a human being. She disturbed the norms of the colonizers, and for that she'll never be forgiven. Embargoes are repeatedly imposed of her out of spite. And though she's been through her share of misfortune, her share of earthquakes and hurricanes, to the black man she has a special message. Your dark skin isn't a curse, it's a blessing. You are royalty, a people of great strength, and no man impose boundaries shall inhibit your progress. So though she's been through her share of misfortunes, Mama Haiti still stands, and she wants you, she wants me, she wants all of us to do the same. Thank you.
au pays pas fini. Au pays pas fini.
Nous c'est Rosso, maintenant nous plions. Nous c'est Rosso, maintenant nous plions. It was all ting on la, didn't do it.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Je vais partager un poème pour nous qui dans un livre que m'écrit dédié à tremblement de terre qui est les 35 secondes. Titre poème c'est I Am Alive. Five years since my heart collapsed. 5 years since my soul was devastated. My family, friends are gone. 5 years. 5 cursed years. 5 blessed years. Since I am dehydrated from crying out loud and in silence. Since my knees have been on the floor, praying, hoping and hoping. 5 years, 5 cursed years, 5 blessed years. Since the sun hasn't shined in my heart, since I've been dreaming, eyes open. 5 years since I wish for magical powers. 5 years with trouble in paradise. 5 years since I feel dead. But my heart is just sleeping because I am alive. I will not lose hope because I am alive. We will not lose hope because we are alive. There is always a way, and this way we will find it because we are alive. My soul is alive. I will not collapse because I am strong and I am alive. What about you? Nothing can break us. We may drown, we may shake, we may catch on fire, but as long as we are alive, we will survive. And the sun in our heart shall rise again. We are alive. Let our voices be heard. Thank you.
Ça c'est maman communauté. Nous remercions pour belle initiative ça. Chaque année nous sommes toujours là pour courir communauté haïtienne en Floride. Encore une fois, grand merci, Marlène.
Nous voulons montrer le pays d'Haïti avec le peuple haïtien, non pas oublier. 5 ans de cela, le tremblement de terre a fait un pile ravage dans le pays. Il y a un pile de monde qui mourit. Nous voulons un message de solidarité par le peuple haïtien. Et puis nous voulons pour la communauté internationale à tous songer le pays d'Haïti. Haïti besoin d'aide toujours. Haïti pas qu'au camper. C'est pour nous continuer à travailler ensemble, pour nous assurer nous que Haïtiens, belles femmes, ça viennent camper encore, pour nous rejoindre même élégance si c'était longtemps. Donc c'est un message de solidarité pour le peuple haïtien et le pays d'Haïti. Et pour nous dire tout le monde, Haïti la pire, Haïti pas mourir. Haïti pas mourir.
Bien sûr, avec plaisir, la petite communauté, il faut faire main dans la main, il faut solidarité entre nous. Il faut toujours camper pour défendre les frères et nous, camper pour défendre le pays, nous, surtout dans un moment comme ça. Donc je dis, 5 ans après un tremblement de terre qui était fait pour nous-mêmes dans la diaspora, un tremblement de cœur, mais ça ne veut pas dire que nous avons plagué ça. Haïti n'a pas péri, nous rêvons, nous là. Comment on dit ça en créole? Plutôt nous l'aide, nous là.
Et qui ça a représenté pour vous?
Assoir représente l'union, assoir représente un moment de joie, un moment que nous avons un bagage qui était très tragique et nous avons prendre ça pour nous retourner leur mémoire très positive pour ça que nous avons perdu. C'est un moment pour Haïti qui a levé mettre tête ensemble pour nous travailler.
Je dis à représenter pour moi un jour que mener nous tous Haïtiens ensemble pour nous faire tout l'autre songer que l'union fait la force, que ensemble nous après bâtir Haïti fait gentil avant.
Nous
doit mettre mains nous ensemble pour nous célébrer Haïti, pour nous célébrer beauté. Et puis, je pense que c'est pour nous tous mettre ensemble, qui n'est pas de l'âge, pour nous supporter Haïti. Et puis, parce que nous éduquer, c'est pour nous tourner la caille pour nous contribuer.
Bon, et bien même deux mon bagage encore pas même qu'à parler tellement initiative ça tellement belle. Moi pas de mots pour me dire qui genre moi senti fier de culture, fier d'Haïti, fier d'être haïtienne.
Merci beaucoup Michel et encore une fois merci pour le support qui sorti juste West Palm Beach pour avec nous le Cultural Center.
Au pays pas fini. Au pays pas fini.
Oui, on dit nous marcher, tête en l'air l'espoir, ambition complète que nous. Tant de poènes, des fierté sous la peau des salines, nous c'est premiers noirs sous la terre, c'est ça y'a dit. Songez en baptême, la peau nous, la blême sous. Méprisez-le, quand ça derrière nous, quand ça entend des trahisons, sentiments qui naissent, mon chef blanc crée la division, c'est nos parents chez nous, la génération ça, mais qui côté parler. On fait combito, ça c'est que fait ça. La ligne fait la force, pour ça nous va
Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir tout le monde. So I come here this evening with a very simple message, and it's a message of resilience, because I know that each and every one of us remembers where we were that fateful January 12, 2010. I know that many of us were very worried about family members and friends. Many of us were in disbelief. Many of us could not accept the fact that an earthquake of a 7.0 magnitude had struck Haiti in this manner. We saw Haitians in Haiti pick up themselves from the rubble. We saw Haitians in Haiti run to provide help and solidarity to their fellow Haitians. We saw Haitians in Haiti in tents. We saw Haitians in Haiti in the streets. We saw people in prayer in churches. We saw people marching in the streets, again, looking for hope. We saw Haitian Americans in the United States, and in this community in particular, swing into action. Again, we saw many of us in churches praying, hoping that a better day would come. But as we are Haitian American, we are resilient. We stood up. We are Haitian American. We provided the support and assistance to those who survived this earthquake and joined us right here in our community. We are Haitian American, and we're resilient, we're helpful, we're supportive of one another. Yes, we suffered a heartquake on January 12th, but today our hearts are mending, our hearts are beating very strong. We are Haitian American, and we are resilient. Thank you.